Hello there, you're watching The World Today. I'm Kasturi Manikam. Our top story this hour. Chinese authorities are holding a news conference on the country's macroeconomic situation and policies. Let's listen in.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to today's press conference. Today we have National Development Reform Commission Vice Chairman Liu Sushe, Vice Secretary and Spokesperson of the NDRC Yuan Da, Director General and Spokesperson of the NDRC Jin Xiandong. They will brief us on the macroeconomic situation of China and our policies in that regard. First, from Liu Sushe. Thank you. Friends from media, good afternoon. It is my great pleasure to join you today with two of my colleagues. Yesterday, the MBS published major statistics concerning the economic operation over the past year. In 2023, under the strong leadership of the Party Central Committee with Commerce at its core, China's economy has withstood external pressure and overcome internal difficulties. We're thriving amid triumphing over challenges as the world entered a new phase of turbulence and transformation, and under the backdrop of global economy like its development momentums, the Chinese economy has showed stability, progress, and quality. That's these three features. First is that our economic recovery is turning for the better. The total economic output reached 126 trillion yuan, an increase of 5.2%. The CPI is rather stable, and the foreign reserve is well received to $3.2 trillion. Second is that the economic structure has been improved significantly. The domestic circle's leading role has been given a bigger role, and the contribution of domestic demand has reached 111.4%, and the ultimate consumption's contributions reached to 82.5%, contributing 4.3 percentage points to the economic growth. In terms of high technology manufacturing industries and high technology service industries, investment grew by 9.9% and 11.4% respectively. Three is high-quality development has been progressed smoothly. We have granted 921,000 patents to inventions. The business environment of our country has been optimized, and we expect to add 12 million new urban jobs throughout the countries, and incomes of our people has continued to rise. In a whole year, the food output reached 0.695 trillion kilograms, and the supply of our energy has been very stable. The Central Economic Work Conference has made clear the overall requirements and policy orientation for this year's economic work. The NDRC is going to follow through the requirements of the Party Central Committee and the decisions of the party and also the State Council. We're going to stick to the principle of seeking progress while maintaining stability, promote stability through progress, and enhance our macro regulation and control, strengthen quality, and promote reasonable growth, and make our new contributions to Chinese modernization and our great cause of national rejuvenation. The NDRC is going to follow our key functions, including economic analysis and policy research, middle-term and long-term outlooks, and annual plans, and so on and so forth. We are going to focus on expanding effective needs and also development drivers based on innovation, and expand real economies, expand people's livelihood, and also as well as boosting the effectiveness of our macro policies. And we are going to focus on tasks in following 7 areas. First is that technology innovation will be promoted to support the development of modern industrial system, accelerate the process of self-reliance and strength in high-quality science and technology, expedite the process of new development drivers being replaced by old development drivers being replaced by new ones. Second is to expand domestic needs, give full play to the government investment, utilize national debt and many other government investments so as to mobilize the incentive of private investments, so as to enlarge the effective investment across the board. Third is to deepen reform and opening up and fully implement the two unswervingly, and continue to carry out reform in key areas, build a unified national market, expand high-level opening up, promote high-quality cooperation, high-quality development of Belt and Road cooperation, and also promote stable and improved foreign trade. Fourth is integrated development between rural and urban areas and regional coordinated development. Promote people-centered new urbanizations, fully implement regional strategies and coordinate development across regions. Fifth is to advance ecological conservation, construction, and pursue low-carbon development, and enhance ecological preservation and pollution mitigation and control. We are going to move from control over the volume and intensity of energy consumption to that of carbon emission. Sixth is about coordination between development and security. We are going to double down efforts in diffusing risk in key areas. Seventh is to deliver down-to-earth efforts to secure and improve people's livelihood, prioritize employment, and boost the level of our service and public service and social security. That is all from me, and I'm very willing to take your questions. Thank you. Thank you for your introduction. And now, question, please. Please brief us of your agencies before you raise your question.
Thank you. How should we understand that we have past the halfway point of the timeline and goals in our 14th five-year plan, especially on science and technology? What new measures will be rolled out?
Thank you for your question. The 14th five-year plan is the first five-year plan since we comprehensively built China into a more prosperous society, which is our first centenary goal, which put us on a new journey of our second centenary goal. According to the decisions of the Party Central Committee and State Council, the NDRC had a interim assessment over the outline of the 14th five-year plan. As of December 2023, the 14th NPC Standing Committee reviewed the said report. In terms of major indicators, in the first period of 14th five-year plan, the economic development maintained at a reasonable range, and we have achieved great results in terms of innovation-driven development. People's happiness have been promoted. The green development has achieved great results, and ability to safeguard security has been boosted. 16 of the 20 main indicators have all met or surpassed our expectations. In terms of major strategic tasks, 17 aspects of the major strategic tasks has gained sound progress, and modern industrial system has been accelerated, and we have had a good start in terms of rural revitalization, and ecological conservation has made new progress. The ability of safeguarding our national economy has been boosted. In terms of major projects, the NDRC, together with many other departments, focused on the outlines and also the projects with regard to capitals and other factors. double down effort in coordination and supervision, and 96 of 102 major tasks has met our expectation, and 6 of them has basically met our expectations. In general, the implementation of the outline has met the set target, the result of which is achieved under the severe impact of COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the tremendous change in international situation. These hard-earned results must be cherished with greater attention. With regard to tech-driven development, in the first half of the 14th five-year plan period, the innovation-driven development has achieved good results. We now have new innovation agency over 2,400, and a number of highly cited papers ranked the second in the world. And the R&D expenditure of enterprises accounted for 77% of the whole society. We're going to deliver on the following 4 aspects. First is to give full play to the new national system in mobilizing nationwide resources and exert all our efforts in terms of breakthroughs in key areas. Second is to focus on basic research that are future-oriented and strategic, providing them with enough capital support. Third is the appliance of technological innovation results. Fourth is about the researchers' cultivation and digitalization. And in the second half of this period, the DRC is going to follow the instructions of the Party Central Committee and State Council and grasp the significance and requirements of Chinese modernization and prioritize stabilizing economic growth, unleash the potential of domestic demand, and stabilize social expectations, and also raise development confidence. We must implement the outline with great determination and endurance and open a new chapter of building China into a socialist modern country in all respect. Next question, please.
谢谢主持人，中方记者提问。请问如何看待这个今年中国经济整体的这个表现
How do you look at the economic performance in 2023 of the Chinese economy? How good is the 5.2% growth rate? And how do you expect the Chinese economy to perform in 2024? What are the main opportunities and challenges in the year ahead? Thank you. Yesterday, the National Bureau of Statistics released the main economic numbers for 2023. The past year was not easy. The Chinese economy withstood external pressure and overcame domestic challenges. The Chinese economy rebounded and moved upwards. As I said, the main targets were fulfilled, and solid progress was made in high-quality development. The economic performance was defined by stability, progress, and high quality, which I talked about in detail in the opening statement. Compared with other major economies in the world, or with Chinese economy in the past, the economic performance of the Chinese economy in 2023 deserves some recognition, especially given the growing negative impact of changes in chaos in the external environment, the combined effort of structural and cyclical issues at home, and the efforts to resolve and prevent risks in key areas. It is particularly hard-won. Going forward, the year 2024 will be another year of opportunities and challenges. In terms of difficulties and challenges, we see more complex, challenging, and uncertain external environment, insufficient effective demand, overcapacity in some industries, weak social expectations, many risks and challenges, and still some impediments in the domestic economic flow. If you look at the opportunities, a new round of technological innovation, revolution, and industrial transformation is reshaping the world economic landscape. Our high-quality socialist market economy system keeps improving, and our institutional strength of the socialism with China's characteristics continue to make a difference. We have a more solid material foundation and more complete industrial system, and our policy space remains ample. Overall, our favorable conditions outweigh unfavorable ones, and there are still many factors underpinning steady, healthy development of the Chinese economy. I'd like to give you 3 examples. First one, the potential of the domestic market is still huge. As we continue to strengthen science and technology capabilities, promote green transition, and speed up the swap of new and old growth drivers, there will be enormous demand in investment, and investment today will be competitiveness for tomorrow. Secondly, reform and opening up and innovation continues to unleash dynamism and vitality. We continue to grow the digital economy, AI, quantum technology, and other future-oriented technologies. All these provide continued growth drivers in space for market entities of various sorts. They provide more application scenarios and better business environment. They will certainly spur enthusiasm, initiative, and creativity of these market entities. At the same time, new space in the international market continues to expand. For example, the global demand for green and low-carbon products continue to grow, which are driving the fast growth in the export of electric vehicles, lithium battery, and solar batteries. And these 3 new products are only a snapshot. There are many other high-quality, energy-efficient, and good value-for-money products that are being exported at a faster pace to meet the global demand and form new growth points. So overall, the basic trend of the Chinese economy, which is economic recovery and long-term growth, has not changed. An open China will continue to bring more cooperation opportunities for the world, and we're fully confident in the bright prospect of the Chinese economy. Thank you.
谢谢主持人，我是澎湃新闻记者。2023年，以电动载汽车为
A question from paper. In 2023, the export of the new 3 items represented by electric vehicles has maintained a very high growth. Can you have any introduction to the development of this industry, and will there be any specific methods taken to promote this industry? Thank you for your question. In 2023, with the joint effort of market demand, as well as the macro policy, as well as the joint efforts across the whole industry, the development of the new energy vehicles industry of China has maintained a very promising sign, which has demonstrated following three aspects. First is that the purchase and sale scaled a new high, and the production and sale reached 9.587 million and 9.9495 million units, and an increase of 35.8% and 37.9% respectively, and accounting for 60% of the whole of the global volume, placing China at the at number 1 in the whole world for 9 consecutive years. Second is about the penetration of these new energy vehicles has been increased. The sale of new energy vehicles in China has accounted for 31.6% of whole vehicle sales. Compared with 2022, it has added another 6 percentage points. As of 2023, the ownership of our new energy vehicles amounted to 20.41 million units. The percentage ownership is 9.1%, a 2 percentage point increase compared with 2022. Third is about the supporting facilities. As of 2023, we have built 9.596 8.596 million units of charging facilities. We have formed a virtuous circle between new energy vehicles and charging facilities. The Central Economic Workforce has made specific requirements for the bulk consumption, including new energy vehicles. The NDRC is going to follow through on these instructions, and we are going to work with other departments to improve our policies and expand the consumption of new energy vehicles and promote high-quality development of the industry. The key tasks will be covered in the following aspects. First is to continue to optimize the policies that we use to improve this industry. We are going to introduce more new energy vehicles to rural areas and promote electrification in public sectors and promote the market share of new energy vehicles. Second is about technological innovation, strengthen the leading position played by companies in terms of innovation. Strengthen the competitiveness of this industry. Third is to build an infrastructure system featured with high-quality charging facilities. Build and optimize the layout and network of charging facilities and enhance the infrastructure building in key areas. Improve the operation service in this regard so as to provide sound support to the development of this industry. More questions, please.
The private economy is an important force for the sustained and healthy development of the economy and important basis for high-quality development. What is the NDRC going to do to promote the development of private economy in the year ahead? Thank you for your question. Supporting the development of the private economy is a consistent policy of the Party Central Committee. The NDRC earnestly implements the decisions of the Party Central Committee and State Council and made continuous efforts to promote the development and thriving of the private economy. On the first day of this new year, which is the 2nd of January, the NDRC convened a meeting on experience sharing on innovation development with Jinjiang with an example. And on that meeting, we released the National Financing Credit Service Platform and showcased the platform for promoting capital promotion for the private sector. The relevant department of the regions also rolled out specific measures on promoting the development of the private economy to encourage the private businesses to firm up their confidence and forge ahead. We continued to enhance our mechanisms of communication with private sectors. On 9th January, Chairman Zheng Shanjie of the NDRC again chaired a meeting with private business leaders to listen to their concerns and respond to their actual difficulties and needs. Going forward, the NDRC will work with the relevant parties to roll out more practical measures, continue to improve the environment for the development of the private sector, truly respond to the difficulties and concerns of the private businesses so that they can really feel the gain in development. We'll focus on the following aspects of work. First is to strengthen legal safeguard for the development of the private sector. We will speed up the legislation process of the private economy promotion law to provide them an institutional and legal guarantee for their development. We will reflect the requirement of treating SOEs and private companies as equals in law and regulations, promote the equal access to factors production, competition on the level playing field, and equal protection by law, so that the role of rule of law in consolidating fundamentals, stabilizing expectation, and promoting long-term benefits will be harnessed. Secondly, we will focus on the implementation of existing policies. We'll go through the existing policies and enhance their execution and enforcement. We will particularly focus on encouraging and attracting more private capital in their participation in national key projects and projects on strengthening weak links. We will support a number of champions in science and technology in the private sector and build clusters of industry that focus on special, sophisticated, unique, and new products. We will support private companies in participating in major strategies such as rural revitalization, regional coordinated development, and new type of urbanization, and encourage their deep, in-depth participation in high-quality Belt and Road cooperation. Third, we will continue to keep the lines of communication open between governments and companies. We will continue to improve the index system for monitoring the state of the private economy and strengthen comprehensive analysis. We will refine our communication exchange mechanisms with private companies, keep our lines of communication open, and understand what is happening in some individual cases and in the overall situation in a timely fashion to help resolve categories of issues, support sectors of companies, and facilitate the growth of industries. Fourth, we will focus on institutional building. We will improve our working mechanisms to strengthen coordination, build more synergy from private economy in the high-quality development. We will also sum up the good practices in the development of private economy to replicate them nationwide, promote mutual learning between different regions and localities, and encourage creative and innovative entrepreneurs in the private sector to foster a culture of respect for the private sector. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Market News International. In 2023, low food price inflation contributed to China's overall low level of CPI. For this year, what is the outlook for food price inflation, and what policies will the NDRC pursue to influence food prices? Thank you.
好，请翻译一下问题。
2023年食品价格低位运行，导致中国整体 CPI 水平较低。2024年食品价格通胀的前景如何？国家发改委将采取哪些政策？这个问题是来自美国国际市场新闻社。
好，这个问题呢，请我们的金贤东主任回答。
好的，谢谢您的提问。
Thank you for your question. In 2023, the CPI of our country is rather stable. Throughout the year, the consumer price index increased by 0.2%. The number is rather smaller compared with 2022. Looking from the contributing factors, in 2022, we have some factors of non-economic and non-conventional factors that influenced the international markets of energy and food prices. In 2023, the markets had a significant downturn. That is one of the most significant contribution factors. If we look into specific sectors, in this year, our CPIs, especially about energy prices, due to external factors, the increase, the number was 11.2 increase in 2022. However, it is down by 2.6% in 2023, contributing to 0.2 percentage downward of CPI throughout the year. Another point is about the combined effect towards the food prices. The food prices increased by 2.8% in 2022, and however, the number was down by 0.3% in 2023, contributing to 0.06 percentage point downward of the whole year CPI. If we look into the specifics concerning the food prices, the grains and edible oils prices had a little bit rise throughout the years. Fruits has risen by 4.9%. and the price of porks had a cyclical decline by 13.6%. The fresh vegetables declined by 2.6%. From a general perspective, given the enough supply and unimpeded logistic, and also an orderly market of our country, the price will be very stable. The next step, we are going to work with other departments to closely monitor the supply and demands of our market and the situation of our prices, and focus on the production and demand, the convergence of production and sales, import and export, and many other sectors worked, and secure to make sure that the market has enough supplies and the price can operate on a stable manner. We believe that given the base and cyclical effect has been gradually decreasing, and the demand of our markets continues to rise, and the policies effect has been playing off, we believe we have the foundation to have a stable food price. More questions, please.
左边第3排深色上衣这位。
谢谢主持人，我是新华社记者。中央经济工作会议提出要增强宏观政策的取向一致性。
The Central Economic Work Conference required a strengthening consistency of macroeconomic policy orientation. As the department responsible for macro regulation and economic coordination, what's the consideration of the NDRC, and what steps will you take in this area? Thank you. Conducting evaluation of the consistency of macroeconomic policy orientation is important innovation in macro regulation, and important means by which we strengthen policy coordination. Let me first brief you about the work related to consistency evaluation. In 2022, pursuant to the decisions of the Party Central Committee and State Council, the NDRC led the establishment of a policy paper evaluation mechanism to conduct the work on consistency, on the evaluation of consistency of macroeconomic policy orientation. Now, each policy issued by State Council departments that involve the macroeconomic stability and market expectation is to be sent to the NDRC for evaluation. So the big questions are whether this policy is in line with the guiding principles of the CPC Central Committee, whether they would cause economic contraction or suppress economic activities, will it undermine social expectations. We will come up with evaluation opinions in a timely fashion and boost the combo effect between policies. Since the start of this evaluation work, and with the support and cooperation of all relevant departments, we have enhanced the synergy of policies and a consistency with macroeconomic policies. But at the same time, given the weak social expectations, it is even more important now to strengthen policy coordination. The Central Economic Work Conference required a strengthening the consistency of macroeconomic policy orientation and to include non-economic policies in the consistency evaluation to strengthen policy coordination and ensure consistency and synergy. Going forward, the NDRC will fully implement the guiding principles of the Central Economic Work Conference, conduct high-quality evaluations of policy consistency. A number of things to do. First is to improve the evaluation mechanism. Building on our experience in the past 2 years, we will put forth the requirements for further strengthening evaluation, clearly define the evaluation scope, improve the evaluation procedures, and conduct scientific and precise evaluations of all policies, including non-economic policies, to better serve high-quality development. Second, we will fully and prudently evaluate the effects of policies. We will scrutinize the effect of each policy on economic aggregate and structure, on supply and demand, on sectors and regions, on employment expectations, to see that more policies are good for expectation, good for stabilizing expectation, growth, and employment, and ensure prudence in the adopting contractive or suppressive measures. We will give full and precise analysis of the compounding impact of the series of policies and to enhance synergy and prevent compounding errors. Third, we will strengthen the consistency in the implementation of policies. We will encourage relevant departments to thoroughly read the change of circumstances and ensure good timing of policy introduction, to manage expectations and fully consult public opinions, set up policy transition periods properly, and ensure policy cohesion and gradual implementation. We will strengthen the analysis and examination on the potential risks in the implementation of policies, prevent excessive implementation and one-size-fits-all approaches, so that the end result from the policies are consistent with what was intended in the decisions of the Party Central Committee. At the same time, the NDRC will continue to strengthen our analysis of economic situation, step up our efforts in monitoring, forecasting, and early warning of economic policies, roll out more packages of policies, and make our macro regulation more forward-looking, scientific, and effective, so that our economic recovery can be consolidated and strengthened. Thank you.
谢谢主持人。南方日报南方家记者提问。14.5新型城镇化实施方案
In the 14th Five-Year Plan's new urbanization plans proposed that the coordinated development of Tianjin, Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei, as well as integrated development of Changjiang River Delta, we have to expedite in building world-class metropolitan areas. However, it is the requirements to have a world-class business environment. So what are the results have been achieved in the past year in this regard, and are there any good practices of improving business environment? I will take this question. The business environment is the land for enterprises to survive and thrive. It is also the important representation of the competitiveness of our region. In recent years, the NDRC has followed through the decisions of the Party Central Committee and the State Council, and deepen reform in this regard. We have promoted world-class business environment that is market-oriented and law-based and internationalized in key areas. We guided key areas to optimize their business environment. First is about top-level designs, the key of which is to have target plans based on the features of different regions. We have put forward 3-year plans for specific regions for several years. In 2022, we have put forward the action plan for long Changjiang River Delta, which focused on integrated regional integration and also aim at strengthening the synergy of different policies and coordination between different regions. Up to now, 17 tasks of reforms have all achieved great results. In 2023, we put forward the action plan for the Greater Bay Area, which aimed at aligning the market rules with high international standards. We aim at create a unified, efficient market environment, a government service environment that is standardized, convenient, open, and transparent, a legal environment that is fair, balanced, and healthy, and also an urban environment that is unimpeded for cooperation. In terms of Beijing, Tianjin, and Hebei region, we are going to focus on coordinated development and support this region to deepen reform and innovation and dock their cooperation. Second is about the grassroots innovation, the key of which is to develop more originative methods. We have put forward 3-year action plans in some key areas, the aim of which is to summarize effective methods that can satisfy the needs of our people and enterprises. For example, in Changjiang River Delta region, we have deepened one license multiple location reform. With regard to high-frequency business-related permits, we allow one permit to be used at multiple locations and deployed many innovative practices with regard to administrative inspections. For another example, in the Greater Bay areas, we are refining a credit-based new supervision system, looking to the possibility of establishing a review agency that is independent, that will oversee the fair competition. so as to test the waters for the convergence of rules across the three localities. The third point is about institutional building, the point of which is to have a long-term mechanism that can be replicated and scaled up. It is one of the most requirements to make sure that some of the reform methods can be replicated and scaled up. In the Changjiang River Delta region, they had a 3-province and 1-city unified policy arrangement featured with government procurement, integrated custom, and so on and so forth. And the Greater Bay Area, they have aligned themselves with higher rules in the international community and delivered more efforts in this regard. Beijing-Tianjin region's action plan is going to focus on strengthening coordination across the board. President Xi pointed out that it is the endless quest of achieving better business environment. We are going to work with relevant departments to continue to optimize business environments in key areas, provide more facilitations and service for business entities to invest and start a business in these regions. Thank you.
谢谢主持人，我是红星新闻记者。我的问题是，当前正值3949时节。
We're now in the coldest days of winter and the traditional peak period for energy consumption in winter. What priority arrangements have been made by the NDRC to secure energy supply?
好的，谢谢您的提问。供暖季以来。
Thank you. Since the start of the heating season, the NDRC has earnestly implemented the decisions of the Party Central Committee and State Council and worked with the other member departments of the Inter-Ministerial Coordination Mechanism on safeguarding the supply of coal, electricity, oil and gas. We took multi-pronged measures to ensure heat supply. On one hand, we improved the capacity of supplying coal, electricity, oil and gas. We harnessed the safe net role of coal and kept the production of coal stable. Our national coal stock for power generation stayed above 200 million tons, which is 30 million tons more than last year. We also enhanced the capacity of electricity supply and strengthened mutual supplementation between different provinces and regions. We provided guidance to upstream gas suppliers to step up production of natural gas, ensure the import of resources, and our stocks in natural and gas storage centers and LNG storage tanks are all at relatively high level. At the same time, we made all our efforts to respond to the impact of natural disasters. We organized the relevant authorities to respond to earthquakes, extreme weather conditions in a timely manner, and carried out inspection and response to risks and emergencies. We conducted studies in advance and enhanced preparedness of large-scale extreme weathers and ensured our ability to supply electricity and natural gas in peak periods. Last December, the record high daily electricity consumption was 1.3 billion kilowatts, which was a historical new high, and natural gas consumption created a new high for 8 days consecutively. But we kept the supply of coal, electricity, oil and gas stable and ensured a safe and warm winter for the people. Now, China has entered the coldest days of winter, which is also the peak time of energy consumption. With the joint efforts of all parties, we have kept the energy operation in China generally stable. Going forward, the NDRC will continue to leverage the coordinating role of our mechanism and make all our efforts to ensure the supply of heat and energy in this winter to ensure a safe and warm winter and spring festival for the people. First, we will ensure stable supply and production of energy. We will continue with our daily control and monitoring mechanism on energy supply in this winter to maintain high-level supply of coal, electricity, and natural gas. We will urge all parties to fulfill their medium and long-term contracts on energy supply, strengthen the mutual supplementation between coal, electricity, oil and gas, and regional collaboration. Second, we will be better prepared for extreme weather conditions. We will closely monitor the trends of extreme weathers and organize the primary energy companies to get prepared before the peak, and strengthen the safe operation of power grids and their post-disaster maintenance. We will make thorough plans for the emergency supply of electricity and natural gas. Third, we will ensure supply for livelihood electricity energy consumption. We'll make sure that different regions assume their major responsibility for ensuring livelihood energy supply and give special attention to coal gas swap and coal electricity swap in rural areas. We will properly respond to the isolated incidents and emergent issues immediately with resolute measures. Thank you.
谢谢主持人。每日经济新闻记者提问：根据中央经济工作会议精神，库内需仍然是2024年经济发展的重。
According to the Central Economic Work Conference, it is boosting domestic demand is still a very important task in 2024. Will there be any methods taken in this year by the NDRC? Thank you for your question. Consumption is the ultimate demand, and investment, it is the current demand as well as the future supply. Through the transaction of service and goods, it can lead to the increase of incomes and the expansion of consumption, so as to foster a virtuous circle between demand and supply. Currently and in a period of time in the future, if we want to consolidate and strengthen our economic recovery, we must fully implement the strategy of expanding our domestic demand, further unleash the potential of our consumption, and expand effective investment. First, we have to stimulate consumption with potential. We have to do a great job in addressing the problem of lack of ability and willingness to consume. First is to boost the income of our people and prioritizing employment. We have to provide them with greater channels of increased incomes, making sure that rural residents have more ways to increase their incomes. Second is to innovate the supplies of goods and services, provide them with diversified and multi-layer individualized choices of consumption, provide them and also cultivate new development drives featured with, for example, smart house recreation tours and domestic trendy brands and so on and so forth, as well as promoting the bulk consumption with regard to EVs, electronic products, and promote trading goods with new ones with the aim of a higher standards of technology, energy consumptions, and emissions. Three is about raising the qualities of consumption goods. Continue to promote quality grading of household appliance, the children's wear, so on and so forth. Strengthen tourism, sports, and home care for elderly and other service consumption, so as to make sure that people can rest assured when buying these goods. Another aspect is about expanding effective investment. We have to broaden the room for effective investment and continue to optimize the environment for these investments. First is to give full play to the leading role of government investments. Most of the government investments goes to the capacity building projects that are focused on laying the groundwork and in the long run. This year we are going to focus on the breakthroughs in key and critical areas, as well as new infrastructures, and our support. We will double down our support on energy conservation technology development. Second is about stimulation of private investment. We have to develop a new cooperation mechanism between public and private capitals. Develop a list of government-invested projects that is suitable for the participation of private investments and to support private sectors to contribute in new infrastructure facility building in terms, and also remove the barriers restricting the private investments concerning public access, market access to factors, and so on and so forth. 3 is to lower the cost for investment and finance, build a market-oriented interest rate formation, regulation, and transmission systems, promote a steady decline in comprehensive finance costs, fully implement the favorable tax policy for micro enterprises so as to lower the logistic costs for our whole society. 4th is to continue to strengthen the safeguards that we have for the service and elements of investments. Strengthen the safeguards in elements covering capitals, the use of land in North Sea, and environmental assessment, expedite the approval process so as to make sure the real results can come out from these investments.
Phoenix TV. The Central Economic Work Conference required expanding high standard opening up. What does the NDRC plan to do specifically to speed up the development of new systems for high standard opening up and attract and utilize foreign investment better?
In recent years, China kept promoting high standard opening up and introduced a host of policy measures to stabilize foreign investment and improve the environment for foreign investors. Given the subdued cross-border investment activity across the world, in the first 11 months of 2023, China's actual use of foreign direct investment still remained at a high level in history. The number of new foreign invested companies increased by 36.2%, and the investment in high-tech manufacturing sector continued to grow. Based on the decisions of the Central Economic Work Conference, the NDRC will work with relevant departments to focus on institutional opening up, with priority given to the key areas of investment, trade, finance, and innovation, develop new systems for a high-level standard open economy, adopt more policies for high-standard investment, trade facilitation, and liberalization, and continue to focus on 2 areas of work, which is bringing in and going global. In terms of bringing in, we will focus our efforts on both policy and services and promote the high-quality utilization of foreign investment. First, on the introduction of policies, we will move quickly to revise the national negative list on foreign investment access and fully remove the restrictions on foreign investment in the manufacturing sector. We will expedite the comprehensive policies on attracting and utilizing foreign investment, roll out stronger support, and the adoption of high-standard international economic and trade rules to resolve the challenges and impediments to foreign invested companies. Second, we'll focus on the implementation of projects. In recent years, we have fully harnessed the role of the working group on major foreign invested projects and rolled out 7 batches of such projects. In the first 6 batches, there are 40 projects. The total investment was $73 billion. 23 of them have been fully or partially put into production. Some of these projects are the relevant foreign invested companies' biggest overseas project or overseas production base. In the 7th batch, 11 projects accounted for a total of $15 billion of investment involving biopharmaceuticals, car making, new energy, batteries, and chemical industries. Third, we will focus on improving our services. We will coordinate solutions to on national level issues such as land use, sea use, environmental assessment, and energy consumption to speed up the implementation of foreign invested projects. We will also host a series of activities to promote international industrial investment cooperation and provide platforms for contact between transnational companies and local investors. We will improve the direct contact mechanism for foreign invested companies and respond to their concerns and provide services in a timely fashion. In terms of going global, we will work with our
partner countries to strengthen policy communication and deepen Belt and Road cooperation on production capacity, third-party market, infrastructure connectivity, and livelihood projects. We will guide our companies to follow market principles and international customary practices and continuously develop high-quality landmark projects as well as smaller projects that quickly benefit the people so that the outcomes of cooperation can reach the people of all countries as soon as possible and make great contribution to world economic recovery and development. Thank you so much for the press conference today. I thank the three speakers and then thank you for coming. Thank you.
You were listening to Chinese authorities holding a press conference on the country's macroeconomic situation and policies. In a nutshell, they said the economy is on the right track with policies in place to fulfill the 14th five-year plan. But of course, there are challenges and risks. But officials said they will aim to strengthen their policies to ensure a steady growth. Now, I want to discuss all the key takeaways with John Gong, Vice President of Research and Strategy at the University of International Business and Economics, Israel. Professor Gong, it's always good to have you with us. Now, first, some key data coming out of that press conference. For instance, China's growth domestic product grew by 5.2% year-on-year in the first 3 quarters of 2023. How do you assess China's current economic situation?
Well, first, 5.2% is a great achievement in my view. I think it's a little bit better than the original target set at the beginning of last year, which is about 5%. And this is higher than the original objective against the backdrop of a very uncertain world, of a world full of conflicts and an overall very slow and not so good macro environment in many parts of the world. Nevertheless, we still see some challenges, as the spokespersons of several departments have said. I think in particular, pertaining to, for example, the real estate market, the anemic aggregate demand, consumption side, and also to some extent the investment side as well. I think these are all big challenges, and I would expect that moving forward into 2020, 2024. I think the target is probably going to be more or less the same, maybe a little bit higher than 5%, maybe around 5%. I think, if we are able to maintain the current momentum, that would be already a great achievement in my view.
Now, officials talked about several policies or strategies for the steady growth. For instance, they talked about high-level opening up, increasing foreign trade, boosting domestic employment, BRI development, etc. What policies are noteworthy for you, and why so?
Well, I think continued opening up has always been a consistent theme. I think the statistics are showing that on the side of attracting foreign direct investment in the last few months, we're seeing a very noticeable drop. We've seen a slew of policies, even including, for example, one-sided visa-free entry allowance for citizens of several European countries. I mean, these measures are all meant to attract people to come to China. I think the country definitely needs to maintain the status of being a very attractive place for foreign direct investment. So I think let's give it some more time to see whether the kind of investment hot place prior to the pandemic, I'm talking about 2018, 2019 timeframe, this kind of a situation will come back to China again. I think Premier Li said at a Davos meeting a few days ago that China still remains a very attractive place for foreign direct investment, and foreign companies who are coming to China, who are investing in China, will stand to benefit, will stand to reap immense profits, as actually the many large multinational companies are currently doing in China.
Now, Professor Gong, just allow me to expand on what you just said. Given your expertise, what kind of specific impact have you seen such policies on businesses?
It's a very good question. I think the government can only do so much. I think it is vitally important to beef investor confidence, particularly on the side of foreign multinational companies, CEO executives. There's been a lot of doubt about this. I mean, even theory about whether China is an investable place. There's this catchphrase called "China is not investable." That's total nonsense. Many companies are doing very well in China. Let's take the automobile industry as an example. I would point to Volkswagen as a perfect example. It's making a lot of money here in China. Not only so, it's also benefiting from the momentous electrification wave in the automobile industry. It's setting up a big all-electric car manufacturing facility in Anhui, and it's exporting. It's not just selling cars here in China. It's also selling electric cars, manufacturing that plant back home in Germany and other places in Europe, competing with the likes of Tesla and other electric cars. So I think this is a very good example of how a multinational company can benefit from the Chinese market, as well as these investment opportunities to be leveraged off to tap other markets, including European markets as well.
Now, you talked about the automobile sector, and it was interesting to see how officials talked about the technology sector, new energy vehicle, and green development in particular. How do you see these fields contributing to the growth of the Chinese economy?
This is an interesting topic. I think China, unabashedly, I'm going to say that China stands at the forefront of the deployment of green technologies. And the electric car development here in China is a perfect example. It's a prime example. Now, I do want to point out a little bit of a hypocrisy on some Western media. For example, there was a post circulated on the internet a few days ago with two pictures. These are the cover pages of Economist magazine about 10 years ago. It is saying whether it's sort of making fun whether China can really transition towards a green economy. And just a few days ago, it's put up a front page saying that electric cars from China is called an EV onslaught to Europe. I mean, that's total hypocrisy if you really think about it, right? I think the electric car industry here in China is really setting an example for the rest of the world. The whole industry needs to get transformed. Chinese companies, as well as foreign companies operating in China, are taking a first step. And I think it's not just all about competition. I think there are opportunities of cooperation as well. As I just pointed out, Volkswagen is a perfect example.
How do you see the role of the Greater Bay Area in China's development?
I'm sorry, say that again. I didn't quite catch your question.
How do you see the role of the Greater Bay Area in China's economic development?
Yeah, well, the Greater Bay Area, we're talking about Shenzhen, Guangzhou, Hong Kong, Macau area. This is a very large part of China's economy. It's also one of the probably most vibrant part of the economy from a geographic point of view. I think the integration of these four great cities, as well as the surrounding medium-sized cities, as well as the resumption of economic vibrance in Hong Kong is vitally important for China's development. I think there have been quite a few policies and measures being pushed out by the government, and I still have a lot of faith in entrepreneurs and private enterprises here in China. That area is dominated by the private sector, and I stand to see that these companies will see their light of the day amid a very difficult situation right now, and that area will shine eventually. I think to see a much better future with an integrated Greater Bay Area, crossing several cities, both in Hong Kong as well as in mainland China as well.
Now, food prices and inflation is a concern here in China. Officials said they will look into, for instance, supply and demand, production, etc. How do you think the government can better handle the CPI going forward?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, CPI is very, very low, as the spokesperson from NDRC has pointed out a few minutes ago. I think, fortunately, we didn't see the kind of inflation that was experienced back in 2022 and 2021 in the United States and the European Union. And I think we were very lucky that we are still able to have access to affordable oil. And with the government measures that, we don't see a rapid run-up of consumer prices, which is very good for average consumers. Now, I think moving forward, I think the government is keeping a close eye on the CPI index. I think the problem is that we probably, to some extent, we're also unavoidably importing inflation as well as the strengthening of the dollar and rise of some products imported into China. Inevitably are going to see price increases, and eventually it's going to show up in the CPI index. But overall, I think if you look at the domestic economy, look at the more important common components in the CPI calculation, I think most of them are manufactured or at least produced here in China, and we're very lucky to see that inflation continues to be very low here in China.
Now, as you mentioned earlier, many business leaders at this year's Davos Forum expressed their confidence in the Chinese economy. Given your expertise, do you have any specific recommendations to better support China's economic development?
I think, we know the problems of the Chinese economy right now. That's the real estate, that's the lack of confidence in the consumer market, and that's also the lack of confidence in the investor market. Inadequate confidence, let's put it that way. So I think the policy measures have to address these three areas. I think, the real estate market is constrained by the demographic trend, and there's not so much the government can do. But I think at least, there got to be some policies to encourage people to acquire more properties. And I have this theory that in the United States, for example, a lot of people have their second home somewhere. In China, we should be doing the same thing. We should buy a home. People here living in Beijing should buy a home somewhere in the south for better weather and for vacation. I think I'm really thinking along that lines, that to encourage more people to invest in real estate. Now, on consumption and investment, this has it's really coming from the governments to beef up confidence. I think confidence is an extremely important issue. What I'm talking about is to put out measures, or at least avoid coming out measures that damage consumer and investor confidence, and giving it some more time, give it some more measures to encourage the development of the private sector. I think confidence is going to come back. It's just going to take some time.
Now, you briefly mentioned about this a bit earlier. I want to ask you, what are your expectations for China's economy in 2024?
I'm setting up a target, that's my own personal target, Professor Gong's target, for above 5%. My guess is that the government may still take the around 5% target, but I'm a little bit more optimistic. I'm saying it's going to be more than 5%. I think probably getting to 6% is a tall order. That's probably difficult. So my forecast would be somewhere between 5% to 5.5%, maybe a little bit more than 5%. I think if we're able to maintain the same growth rate as in 2023, we're in good shape. For a country of that size, economy of that size, which is rapidly approaching the status of a developed country, 5%, above 5% growth is a great achievement.
And before you go, I just want to talk about the big picture here, Professor Gong. What are your predictions for the future of the global economy, given increasing uncertainty worldwide?
Well, I think, even before thinking about the global economy, I think it's all hinges upon one important theme, that is peace. Without peace, there will be no development. If there is this war still going on in Ukraine and still going on in Israel, in Gaza, we're not going to see a full recovery, at least in the European Union, in my view. So I think the important issue is to resume peace negotiation in Ukraine and try to freeze that war. I think there might be even a chance that might happen this year, maybe even later this year. Given the political development in the United States, and also the political development in the European Union as well. I think there might be a chance that the peace may come back in Ukraine. So anyway, I think we're already seeing so many conflicts all around the world. I hope for a peaceful year for 2024, and very luckily and very gratefully, we're enjoying peace here in China.
Well, let's look forward to that. Professor Gong, it's always good to speak with you, and thank you for your time and your perspectives.